everybody. Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, here to give you our reaction and analysis to the Raptors' 120-115 win. Riker, this was a fun game.
It really was. It was. It seemed to be a very start-to-finish game, which is what you like to see from the Raptors, especially with an under 500 team that we should handle easily.
Yeah. Well, the Pacers have been good. Don't underestimate the Pacers. They're 12-11 this year.
I was just going to swing back to that. I mean, they really have held their own, sort of surpassed expectations, especially Oladipo is playing out of his mind. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But I wanted to ask your opinion. It seems the last couple of games we've had concerns about the Raptors' first quarter, not starting aggressive, not making their easy shots. What were your thoughts on the first quarter?
Well, today it was a back and forth to start the game. It was very back and forth, but it seemed like the Raptors had a lot of energy, and the starters weren't, great. And the bench came in and gave them that spark as they always do, but they didn't seem as lethargic. And honestly, we went punch for punch with Oladipo. It was just a game of runs, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so you talked about it just a second ago. Our bench has been on fire. They call it the bench mob. Raptors fans are being absolutely encaptured this season, spread with pure joy in the hustle and the talent that our second unit is bringing. I mean, it's beyond my initial expectations of how good they could play, but I mean, we have an entire group of individuals that are playing seamlessly together. It's fantastic to watch. What were your takes on it this game?
Man, I tweeted it because the game did seem, it was back and forth and all that, and it was before any of the bench unit came in. I tweeted we need a spark from our bench, and that's exactly what they gave us. CJ Miles came in. He's back from congratulations to CJ Miles, first of all, for becoming a dad. He missed the last couple of weeks spending time with his family, so congrats to CJ. Great to see him back out there. But he came in, hit a few threes. Fred VanVleet. There's nothing.
Freddie Van Fleek.
That is very true. Drake was there on the sidelines as well tonight. Gotta keep up that nickname. But he's been phenomenal. With DeLon right out, it's just think of Fred VanVleet. He was an undrafted rookie last year, fighting with Brady Heslip and God knows who else for a roster spot. And look at him now. It's great to watch. Yeah,
it's been an absolute turnaround. It's one of those, and I hope that he stays consistent. I mean, we have players like that throughout each season that sort of rise to stardom very briefly to share the limelight and then sort of regress back to being an average player or worse. I mean, you've seen the likes of Jeremy Lin, even Ben Simmons, who is the player on the Spurs?
Not Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons is the Philly. Oh gosh, I love Ben Simmons. But Simmons from the Spurs, who we thought was poised to be really good, but
Jonathan Simmons.
Jonathan Simmons. Too early to think about that.
He's in Orlando now, so he's actually had a decent year in Orlando. But I know what you're saying.
Decent, but anyways, too early to speculate on that. But it has been incredible.
The thing about
to watch.
Fred, the thing about Fred, he's not doing anything like that you don't think would be sustainable, though. You know what I mean?
True.
He's just playing ridiculously good defense, playing really hard, getting to the rim really well, and just hitting open shots.
You know what? And let's talk a little bit about Fred, because you had a couple stats that are beyond impressive.
Yep.
Jump right into him.
Yeah, Fred, for anyone that doesn't know, going into tonight's game, I'm not sure, he didn't have a turnover tonight, and I believe, looking at the box score, he had 6 assists. Well, Fred VanVleet currently is, I believe, 11th or 12th in assist-to-turnover ratio in the NBA, just behind Rondo and just ahead of John Wall.
Wow.
Going into tonight's game. That I don't know what else you could ask from your backup point guard. That's especially your third-string point guard that is stepping up after an injury.
Yeah. I mean, we might have to have a pod about
just Fred,
Fred versus DeLon, because I mean it is going to be a big consideration what's going to happen to the rotation once DeLon comes back from the injury. But for now,
good problems though.
Good problems.
Good problems to have.
Fantastic problems.
And another backup fighting for minutes with another center. Bebe was out tonight, but Jakob Poeltl with the extra minutes put in 18 points, and 6 rebounds.
Wow. You know what?
It's 8 of 8 shooting, 100% from the field.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a game and a half.
Yep.
The announcers were talking about it the other night. Last season, he had the finesse, so he was able to, have a really light touch around the basket. That's what you like to see, those nimble fingers. But just sweet and soft off the backboard. But this season, he's being aggressive. So he can finish, but he's putting his head down. He's getting to the lane. He's shouldering the contact. He's finishing strong, but he's finishing smooth, and that's the ultimate development that you want to see from a center.
And it seems like every possession he's there for the offensive rebounds too. Tonight he had 3 offensive rebounds, 6 total for the game. It seems he's just active, and that's really great to see from a big, right? Because watching Jonas Valanciunas for the past, Jonas is great. We love Jonas, but he isn't known for his activity, obviously.
Yep.
So it's just awesome to see a big man who's just super energetic, and him and Siakam. It's
a
oh my
gosh. Siakam is a bull. He's a bull in a china shop.
Yep. And then I was watching the game with a friend, and we were talking about the bench, and then we see Norm Powell check in, and you almost forget about him, right? He had 10 points tonight. It's awesome. I can't. It's speechless because everyone questioned the bench after losing Patty P and Corey this offseason.
That's
right?
true.
And someone would have to step up for DeMarre Carroll's departure in the starting lineup. So everyone was wondering about the bench, right?
And I can't hate. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
It's on my mind. I can't hate on Corey Joseph. Good Canadian boy.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to him. I hope he has a great career. But that was my problem with Corey Joseph last season. Was he was a good facilitator. He could handle the ball well, but he put absolutely no pressure on the defense as an offensive threat. He could sometimes hit an open corner 3, which is good. That's what you want. But he wasn't a shot creator. Freddie Van Fleek, he makes shots. He's aggressive getting to the basket, and he can finish. I mean, he's more of a distributor, which is what you want, but I think he's a better offensive threat than Corey Joseph. And that might be a bit too early to say, but I think
Corey's a great point guard.
He's a good
this isn't a hate on Corey. It's just Fred has been so good.
Oh, just been phenomenal, really.
Yeah.
All right, last thing about the quarters. Traditionally, or as of late, the third quarter woes have been very rampant for the Raptors. I think I heard the statistic that the Raptors have the best second quarter or the best fourth quarter in the NBA for probably plus minus or points or something, but the worst in the third quarter. Did you see that this game, or was there an improvement?
Well, I think Drake figured it out last night, the other night. It was cryptically written, the answers to the third quarter woes on Jeremy Lamb's leg, and they deciphered it. Dwayne Casey got out the squad, got out Jerry Stackhouse, Nick Nurse. They took a look at Jeremy Lamb's leg because the Raptors looked great in the third quarter today. It wasn't a blowout or anything, but they didn't go through one of those huge lulls. The quarter it was 31-29 for the Pacers, but they competed, right? And I think that's more of just a mental thing. Yeah. I mean,
if we have the second unit coming out and working so hard in the second quarter to build a lead for us, the very least that I would expect our starting lineup to do in the third quarter is to not blow that lead. If they stay relatively the same, that's fine. Yeah.
That's all we need from. And we've talked about the bench so much. Our big three, so to speak, was great tonight as well.
Yeah.
DeMar, Lowry, and Ibaka. Ibaka, we'll talk about him first because we expect that from Kyle and DeMar. Yep. But he was hitting his shots. Ibaka just looks so much better when the shots are going in. You know what I mean?
Well, that's just the thing. If he's consistent, he's good. I think if he's not making threes, I think he needs to decide earlier in the game to come in and take his mid range. But I mean, that wasn't a problem. He was scoring from sort of every aspect this game, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's great to see, and he even had a block. He had a couple blocks tonight.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. I mean, I guess a good transition to our final segments of the game. Yep. We'll start with the play of the day. Fans or listeners, we're still looking for a ceremonial name of the play of the day. It's a little bland now. We're looking for something creative. Hit us with your comments. Shout out to us on Twitter.
Yeah. Put in the comments. Throw it on Twitter. Just let us know some way, somehow.
So Ben, play of the day. What was it?
Play of the day?
Yeah.
It goes to Norm, almost the forgotten Titan off the bench, because he's been great, but seems to be overlooked after the stardom of Freddie and all the guys, Siakam. But he came in. When Norm drives, it's a bit almost chaotic of sorts, even though he's completely in control. He's just so fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comes in, just drives into the lane. You think he's going up for a layup, and then out of nowhere, he's at the bottom of the circle. Comes up off 2 and just throws it down in traffic. It's just one of those unexpected dunks that were super nice. So that's today's play of the day. There's a lot to choose from tonight.
There really was. We could go on a tangent about it, but that's a nice choice. Mm-hmm. Moving on to the
OG's play of the day.
Oh, geez. Play of the day. Now, this is a bit of a good, a bit of a bad. Decipher it how you want. But we have a phenomenal chase down block. Bojan Bogdanovic. Get that garbage out of here. Ibaka with the chase down block. But that was nice. That was smooth. Yeah. The emphasis of this OG's is the way that Ibaka crumpled like a limp slinky into the baseboard of the net. I mean, you have Ibaka of old, right? Just a superhuman defensive. Yeah. He's an Avenger. I mean, he's a Captain America, but he just fell down in the way that just made you sad to watch. I mean, you're looking at this guy like, oh man, like I don't even know if he's gonna bother getting up. It was weird. It hit me with all the feels. So that's our OGs.
And the run to chase it down too
was slow.
You don't usually, because Ibaka's more of one of those guys that beats you with his slowness, like Paul Pierce, one of those guys that just takes you down. You don't see him run that much.
No, he was galloping.
Just watching him run to chase down that block, and then
the way the poor guy hit the deck.
Yeah, it was.
Timber.
Yeah, that was an OG's play of the day.
All right, we'll finish this podcast off. This is a good one. I like your choice here with our DeMarre Carroll, infamous DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award for worst performance of the game. It's a little bit different this time and who you're giving it to, but I think that the explanation is on point. Hit us with it.
So the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star goes to Lance Stevenson. Why, you might ask? He had 11 points. He came down the clutch and hit a shot, whatever. Just don't like Lance Stevenson playing against the Raptors. Just watching him come in, just be a pest, do all these insane dribble moves, and then, I'm sure he's great to watch if you're cheering for him, but, just watching him against the Raptors, it makes me quite sad, and that's enough to give him the DeMarre Carroll Gold Star Award.
Yeah, he has Raptors fans biting their fingernails, hoping that he's not going to randomly go off and clutch the team for a victory.
Or shoulder check our players in the clutch.
I'd actually be interested to talk to a Pacers fan and get their take on whether or not they like Lance Stevenson. I feel like you'd get some mixed...
I used to love Lance Stevens. I loved the Pacers back in the day with Roy Hibbert and...
Oh, back when Roy Hibbert was good. Those were fantastic. Yeah. When they almost beat the Heat in the conference semifinals.
That reminds me.
Yep.
That reminds me. A little tangent you brought up. We both brought up Roy Hibbert.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lowry tonight. He's been doing it a lot the past couple years, I've noticed. Players come in, he's like at the only one back on the fast break.
Yep.
He just jumps straight up with that verticality, patented by Roy Hibbert. But Lowry almost does it better. He jumps straight up, and then defenders never finish over him, despite him being a small guy. And then tonight he did the same thing. I think it might have been to Bogdan.
Mm-hmm.
Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Bojan Bogdanovic.
And then Jonas got the rebound, took a few dribbles. We saw a bit of Point Jonas out there. Outletted it back to Lowry, and Jonas came down for an and one. It was a pretty hectic play, but it was a standout.
Got the crowd on their feet.
Yep, for sure.
All right, so Ben, that's it for me.
Yeah, it was just a great game for the Raptors. It's nice to see us beating quality competition, even though the Pacers' record might not, they're just above 500, but they've been really, really good this season.
Mm-hmm.
So good win for the Raptors. Nice little break the weekend. then we'll be back.
Yeah, stay tuned for our video podcast coming out this weekend.
Yep. Stay tuned. Get subscribed to Raptors Digest on YouTube. Everyone, thanks for listening.
All right.
And see you next game.
Cheers.